All right, welcome back everyone to the Check-In Podcast. My name is Cameron Billette.
My name's Ian.
And we just want to welcome you back to the Check-In Podcast. We've been on a little bit of a break, but we're back here today with our guest, Jelani Hilliard-Jackson, says his whole name. And those of you who don't know out there, this is a podcast geared towards young adults where we just talk about everything that's going on in life. We talk about politics sometimes. We talk about pop culture, music, entertainment, and then just whatever other discussions our peers around us are having. So without further ado, I'm going to ask our guest, Jelani, if you could use one word to describe your week or your day so far, what one word would you use?
Better.
Better.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess the reason I would say that was because it was better than last week. So better is probably the best way I can describe this week. It went by pretty quickly.
Very fast, in my opinion.
Yeah, very fast. I feel like anytime Wednesday comes around, that's when you just know there's hope to get to the weekend. So yeah, better is probably the word I could use because last week was awful. So yeah, better for sure.
You know, I don't even be remembering like my weeks. When the week is over, I have a really hard time recalling what happened last week because I'm just on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So what about you?
Yeah. What about me? I don't know. I mean, I got my senior week next week. I mean, I have like senior night Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then they kind of want me to have like be finished up by May 1st. So yeah, I mean, I'm almost done.
So real quick, what does senior night look like during a pandemic? Like, what do you guys
it's gonna
do?
It's gonna be on like the field or it's gonna. I don't know, but I just know it's gonna be on the field. So
TA soccer field.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
what's your word?
I don't know. Getting ready, I guess.
Getting ready. Okay, your phrase is cool.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm very hungry. My word. What would my word be? My word be let's see. I did my finals this week. Well, some of them. Not all of them. I don't know. I can't think of a word.
Is this your senior year too?
No, it's my junior year.
Okay, junior year. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I'm ready to get up out of here, honestly. I'm upset that I missed an entire year on campus, especially my junior year. But I'm ready to.
At least senior year will be back because that's the best year. You know, freshman year I think and senior year are the best years to be there.
That's what I feel like too. Like, and I feel like just in school in general, like freshman year and senior year of high school were the most fun for me. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm just ready to be done with school. So, I say my words like anticipating, I guess.
Okay.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
But so we did our words of the week, and there's just been a lot happening this week alone. So
yeah.
I went on my Twitter Explore page, For You page. Oh, wait, I have a question. Are you watching Falcon and Winter Soldier or no?
No.
Are you a Marvel fan?
I'm a cursory Marvel fan, meaning like whenever I'm around people that watch it or are part of the Marvel world, then I'll watch it, but I'm not watching it on my own.
Oh, on your own. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, that series is really good. Well, Marvel's just doing a good job, but if you don't watch it, it's cool. But so let's start with the beginning of the week. What happened Monday? Nothing happened Monday at all. Sports, entertainment.
No.
People are not dropping music. Like I know Young Thug and Gunna just dropped something, but I mean, like,
what was last week? What was it?
Slime Language 2.
Yeah, Slime Language 2 came out last week. And it just depends. Like, I listen to a lot of reggaeton music, so some people have been dropping a lot of music on the Spanish side of things.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But
you speak Spanish?
I'm trying to get there.
Yeah. Music is the best way. I like watching music and watching shows because it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to pick up. I'm learning sign language right now as well. And in learning sign language, I feel like it's much harder than learning like Spanish, because Spanish, like, it's like kind of like direct translation. Like you have your subject, your verb, your objects. It's all in this.
Yeah.
It's pretty much all in the same order. With sign language, it's your object, your subject, and then your verb. So it's like the last part of the sentence, the beginning part of the sentence, and then the verb. So just translating from English in my head to like my hands and making sure, but yeah, but like, no, I just feel like compared to last year, people aren't dropping like as much music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, this time last year, people were just dropping stuff like every weekend.
Bro, like they said, pandemic, who? I'm releasing this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know if people were sitting on music or they just had more time to create. I don't know.
It's probably a mixture of all those things. It's just something I noticed because a big part of the podcast is like talking about new music. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, I haven't really heard any new music lately. I don't know what to talk about. But on Tuesday, the Derek Chauvin trial happened and he was convicted. Yeah. Were you a law student ever? Or political science?
No, student? But I'm just heavy into politics, law, policy, all that kind of stuff. So no.
You never studied it?
But, no, I was a political science student, but never in law school. No.
Oh, okay. No, that's what I was asking. I was like law or political science because I know you studied theology. Oh, okay. Yeah. In watching this, I realized it was the first time where I had seen like, a crime against like Black people by the police actually be convicted. Because I didn't realize there was a part after he was convicted for a sentencing. Because we had never gotten there before. So I'm just like, oh, like there's more to the plot. Okay. I don't know, like what is like the can he get like a max sentence, or do you feel like he's gonna get
I don't know if he's gonna get max, because max is 40 years. So and just because he can get max, which is 40 years, doesn't mean that he will. So, it'll be interesting. Most people don't think that he'll get max, but also a lot of people didn't think that he would get all 3 charges. I think with the American, legal system, I was about to say justice system, but legal system, I never have really any hope for anything. So I don't even try to like waste my time. Like, will he get, will he not? It's just like, hopefully he's in there for a long time. So. Yeah,
I felt bad like saying it. It was I had so many emotions going through my head when so first of all, I was in class when that happened and we were supposed to be presenting, but we took breaks in between like our presentations to just check in with CNN. And then when everything happened, like we were like just so excited and everything. But I was just thinking to myself like how crazy it is for me to not have thought that this would go this way. Like his lawyer was horrible. He was really bad. And I think not only was like his lawyer horrible, but like his lawyer didn't really even have like a good case to argue. So it's like the lawyer could have been bad, but also like this is like the worst case you could hand to somebody. Like how am I supposed to get this person off?
Get me off
like get me off of this murder charge. I know it's on video. I know the whole world's seen it, but you got to get me off. Like I think the lawyer was just there to get paid for real.
No, that's what it all is. I would not have taken it, obviously. But if I'm him, the lawyer, I would love it because it's just like I already know you're gonna basically go to jail, I'm guessing, but at least I get a free check. So
pretty much. So. Yeah. How did it make you guys feel, like just as Black men, like you guys have, well, I know we're all Black, but just as like you probably had like a different experience and a different reaction to seeing that video. How did it make you guys feel like for him to like be like convicted?
Like the video of the conviction or like the video of like George Floyd?
No, the conviction.
To be honest, I there was no way I saw him getting off. So
even with history, even like with.
Yeah, I didn't see this one. I mean, it was just too broadcast, too in your face to not, too much evidence to not be convicted. I just didn't.
You didn't see it not going either way.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I know that, but like Eric Garner was filmed.
I mean, yeah, but it wasn't like this, like this worldwide. Eric Garner wasn't that worldwide.
Are you talking about? Oh, so you're talking about like not only was a film, but like the whole world paid attention to
the
it.
whole world saw it. Everything like I mean, Moon was sparked up after everything. I mean, but it's just like there was just too much evidence to not be convicted. I mean, they went through an autopsy and everything. So I mean, like there was just way too much.
I think they also had I think one quarantine had a lot to do with it because people had nothing better to do than sit and watch their TVs anyways. So like a lot of things that people would miss because they're on their way home from work commute, or they're just doing other things, like they were just glued to the TV.
Yeah.
And so what about you, Jelani?
No, both of you guys mentioned a good point. Like, I think, like you said, at that time, like quarantine happened, and it was definitely like, even more so, people were not leaving their homes. Like now, yeah, we're still in the pandemic, but people are moving around a lot more. And so the Eric Garner situation, like you said, that happened, what, 2014? Yeah, yeah, it was a number of years ago. But like whether that or the Michael Brown situation, all these things happened, which I think Black America knew about it, but not like America or even the world really cared. I think most times America cares when they see like, looting and all that kind of stuff. But outside of that, they don't care when these types of things happen. So I think the world was, just the eyes of the world were, on America, and that case in particular. I didn't think that he would not be convicted, but I didn't know that he'd be convicted of all three charges. I didn't put in my head how many he would be, but I didn't think that he would get all three. But like Ian said, there was just too much evidence and again, it was just even for the amount of time that he had someone's knee on. I mean, Derek Chauvin's knee was on George Floyd's neck. Was just even longer than we initially knew. We were saying 8 minutes and 40 something seconds or something, and then it came out to be 9 minutes and 24 seconds. It was just you couldn't ignore it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Going back to, so George Floyd happened, and George Floyd's girlfriend apparently was Daunte Wright's teacher.
Yeah.
Daunte Wright was murdered 2 weeks ago by a policewoman who mistook her taser for a gun. So I have a question for you. So a lot of people think I'm like, I mean, it's more so a lot of people think like I'm anti Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, right? And so it's more like not me like being like anti them, but it's more just so like I'm just kind of fed up with just the way politics has been going. And I understand they're trying, but I just feel like I'm just like, guys, I feel like after the year we've had with Trump and him doing whatever he wants to do in the name of evil, why can't y'all do whatever you want to do in the name of good?
Yeah.
That's just how like I see things. And so I want to go to Daunte Wright real quick because Joe Biden, he heard about it. And the first thing he said was absolutely no looting. And that was just really like just, I don't want to say underwhelming. I'm looking for the right word, but that was just really like frustrating to hear from a president who capitalized really on, and like I'm not necessarily mad at him. Politics is politics. He capitalized basically on the Black Lives Matter movement, promising change, promising policy and stuff like that. And then like as soon as he gets in office, it's like certain things are just you could see it was campaign talk. And I just want to know from you, because you said you're heavily in politics, like what was your view when he said that, and what is your view just like on the way this administration has been delivering on like its promises?
So when I saw that too, I was very frustrated, and I'm largely supportive of what I've seen from the administration, but I'm also, a Black person. So when I heard that, it was just kind of like, that shouldn't even be on the table. We shouldn't be talking about that, right? Like,
right.
That's not even something that he should be speaking to. He should just be speaking to the situation and the humanity of the young man that was shot, or young boy rather. I might say young man,
right?
That was shot. And so I got pissed off about it, and it was just like, it reminds you that Joe Biden, even though a Democrat or whatever, more liberal than Trump or whatever, is still white. He's still an old white man. And so certain things, it's just like, that's, his frame of mind those things. But then I also had to remind myself of like the politics of America. And America, whether we elect Joe Biden or Bernie Sanders, to me is a center-right country. And so you have to operate within the country that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, let's say Joe Biden did just speak to the shooting of the young boy and just said whatever, then Fox News would have been like, well, how come he's not saying make sure there's no looting or whatever. Like, the right wing will always be saying something about well, he didn't mention that there shouldn't be looting in the streets or this or that or crime or whatever. And so I think what he was trying to do was trying to cover all bases, talk about, how this shouldn't have happened, but also talk about how there shouldn't be looting in the streets. Mm-hmm. So I think that's part of, like you said, the political aspect of it. This is politics. But I will say, from the more behind the scenes aspect of things, I think that Joe Biden has done a really good job in terms of things that probably people don't see more of, in terms of like the Department of Justice, some of the appointments that he's made. One just got confirmed and the other is going up for a vote, I think, next week. The Associate Attorney General for the Department of Justice, she's a civil rights attorney that a lot of activists and advocates are big proponents of. And then the person that's going to be in charge of the Civil Rights Division, she's just really phenomenal. So I think this is what I'll say about this administration. I think that they actually, and this may be controversial, I think they will actually be better than the Obama administration when it comes down to policies for Black America specifically. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I say that is because we all love Barack Obama. Barack Obama, not perfect, but, we have great affinity for him. Mm-hmm. But I think we as Black people were like, we have to protect Barack Obama. Like, this is our guy. Like, he's the only one we got. We have to make sure that, he is just good, even personally, right?
Right.
I think Black people could give two blanks about Joe Biden, and even Kamala Harris for that matter. Like, I love Kamala Harris, but I know a lot of people are just like, it's like, what can we get from you, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's how we should be looking. And so I think Joe Biden knows that he has to fight for Black votes, right? Just as much as he would fight for a person in rural America or, the women vote or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I think that's actually a good thing. I don't think that that we should, like, for instance, the Congressional Black Caucus's motto is that we don't have permanent enemies or friends. We only have permanent interests, right? And so for me, as a Black community, I think that this will be a really good administration for Black folks if we keep the heat on the Biden administration. Mm-hmm. I think we'll get more things from them. And I think they're doing some really good stuff on economic policy. I think they're just trying to obviously get us out of this time of the pandemic. But I always will say this: Joe Biden, even Kamala Harris, are not. They're institutionalists. So they are people that believe that you can change things within the system and that there's a certain way to do that. And so that kind of goes against the grain of, let's say, a Bernie Sanders per se, right? Mm-hmm. And Bernie Sanders, has been a part of the system, but he's more of an activist type spirit. But to me, while I would love to have, Medicare for all that kind of stuff, that's not going to happen within a white supremacist center-right country. So to me, you have to take what you can get, but always continue to push. So for instance, the American Rescue Plan was this big plan. It was great. People got their checks. Of course, we want reoccurring checks. I would love a reoccurring check.
Like,
but
come on.
Yeah, it's like, okay, let's see, like, okay, let's take that. Like, for instance, that plan, the American Rescue Plan, literally will cut childhood poverty in half, like in America. That's a great thing, but we have to keep on going. And so for me, what I will say is I do love that. To me, they're constantly pushing for something more, but I think it's pushing for something more within what can happen in America. And I think also things are different too, and I know I'm talking a lot, but I think things are different too in the sense that Barack Obama was Black. Let's just be real. So
Mhm.
a lot of the American public, a lot of Republicans, we're not going to be for anything that Barack Obama was going to, say or be about. But because Joe Biden's saying, it's like, oh, this makes sense. Like, okay, like
Right.
we should be,
The messenger
sending
matters.
text to people. Yeah, exactly. The messenger matters. And so even let's say if, Joe Biden, God forbid, died or, didn't run again, like I don't know if Kamala Harris would even have as much success, right, in the polls
She
as
wouldn't.
a
She's
Joe Biden.
Black and she's a woman.
Yeah, a woman, yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things that's just interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. I definitely feel that. I definitely it's what you said was all correct. And I just feel like there's so many people who have like a revolutionary mindset rather than like I understand that like people think they can like, transform a system. But I mean, it's just been here. The system has been here since the Pilgrims got here, for real. Like it's just been continuing and just and I just feel like there isn't like, so like this is gonna get me into what I really want to talk about today, but I just feel like there just isn't really any, I don't want to say there isn't any hope for America, but like, I think about like prophecy and how Jesus is coming back soon and how he says like, the world is, is going to go into destruction anyways. So I don't really have hope for America because I just feel like I understand that, there's a way that things are quote unquote done, but people are sick of it. And it's just like, I don't think we're like going to go to war like within the next few years or anything like that. But I just definitely see like this country like slowly declining. And I asked you about Joe Biden because I was really worried. I'm just like, if he does not deliver on his promises, then people are going to start voting the other way again, the same way they did with Barack. There was a lot of people after Barack's first term who didn't vote for him again because he didn't do enough for the Black community. And then there was people after Barack's second term who didn't want to vote for a woman, and they just felt like, Donald Trump was speaking more, like saying more things that the Black community was going to happen. But all of this to say, like this past year with the election, with like, honestly, Donald Trump was probably the worst president out of any of the presidents to be in charge during a pandemic. That was honestly, I don't even know what book that came out of, but that was horrible. Just living like with Donald Trump as president this past year, the pandemic this past year, this increase in like police brutality, which I feel like has just, I feel like it increases during the summertime. And I talked to DJ about it because, his father is a policeman. And he was just telling me how like I had tweeted something. I was just like, and I think I talked to Ian about it too. I had tweeted something like, I don't know, like I love the summertime. I love when it's warm outside. Like my spirits are truly up, but I also get really anxious towards the summertime because it just feels like there's like violence that increases in the summertime. Like I feel like the most police brutality stories we get are in the summertime. And he had just mentioned to me like the days are longer, people are out longer, so it's more interactions with not only other people but law enforcement as well. And that's how that's how opportunity for escalation is even formed. And so just with everything happening, I found myself and I think Ian has too, I found myself like living in like a little bit of fear. I started therapy again this past year. And just so much anxiety about how the world is like functioning and just being scared to like really do anything. And I just want to know, like, one, have you guys been feeling any of this? And two, if you guys have, like, how have you guys been handling it?
I'm not necessarily living like in fear.
Mm.
I mean, my only fears are really like spiders and like airplanes and like policemen. For really,
But you don't like airplanes?
no,
Yeah, like airplanes.
not really.
So
No,
wait, how often have you gone on a plane then?
I go on a plane too often.
Too often for him.
For me to not like airplanes. So
So what do you when you get on the airplane? What do you do? Like, do you just like try to knock out or what?
I immediately sit down and fasten my seatbelt, and then I turn off my phone and I just hold my armrest. That's immediately what I do, and I don't get up for any reason. Any reason. When we went to Africa, I literally sat there for the whole 19 hours that first flight. I did not move at all.
You don't think music would like chill you out, like mellow you out?
I
or
mean,
anything?
it did. It helped me go to sleep and stuff like that. But I still didn't like move or like that.
Oh, okay.
You know, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm not necessarily like living in fear. I mean, the only fear, or like, I just have an increased awareness just because I started driving.
Mhm.
So I'm just aware that a car accident could happen, something could happen on the road. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I think I just have increased awareness. But I understand people who are living in fear during this time, especially like Black people, just because it's just, police brutality is happening even more. And, it's a pandemic, and so like the pandemic really, it did. I mean, it's not purposely targeting people, but like it really struck in poverty, and most people in poverty are us, people that look like us. So and they don't have like a way to get food on the table, and like so I understand people living in fear, basically.
So this past year, but you recently started like a different, I want to say, like spiritual journey with your friend.
Yeah.
What do y'all read the Bible and just talk about it, or?
Yeah, we read it and we talk about it. Like, I mean, I need to read it again. I'm only like, I'm only in like the first 5 chapters of Matthew, but I need to read it like some more.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not really like scared. We're really just like, we're not really scared. We just know what's going to happen.
So I'm saying, like, your spiritual like journey, just did it prompt you to like change your perspective on life?
Yeah, it like, because I used to be scared of death, but I knew death was inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
I knew death was inevitable, and I
got scared of death a lot this past year.
Yeah,
just with everything. I was just like, oh, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
Yeah, I used to be scared of death, and I literally just realized that death was inevitable, and that if we just read the Bible, death is just asleep,
mm-hmm.
and you shouldn't be scared of death if you're doing good on earth, basically, and and you're setting your faith, and that God is going to take you to heaven. So yeah,
that while I know that, it's still been like really hard for me to like get out of my head, especially when like social media is just so, I want to say, exhausting and overwhelming. Because it's like, for example, the Derek Chauvin trial happened. He was convicted.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then literally, like, I promise you, I saw 5 different stories of police shootings that happened that day.
Have mercy.
And it's just like, no matter how much therapy I go to, no matter how much meditation I do, no matter how many social media breaks I take, it's still like this constant like fear and anxiety that I have just around living in this world. And if I'm gonna be honest, like I kind of really don't know what to do anymore. I did start my worship again. I had stopped it last year because I didn't like my worship book. And then I was just in search of a worship book that I actually liked. But I've been doing my worship book and reading some books of the Bible as well. So, but just even everything, it's just still just, I just don't really know how to like get through it for real.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that people don't know how to like really get through. And I don't like making this like a religious podcast or nothing like that. But like, me and you both share the same faith. So I mean, I think what would really help is if you just read it like fully, like how I'm doing it. I think that would really help. I think that will really like change the way you look at life, to be honest.
What about you, Jelani? You know, you're an elder, you minister as well. How have you found it hard to minister to people during this time and giving them something, some type of hope and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, even like you brought up this past Tuesday, we had, the trial with the conviction, but then, Makia Bryant, in Columbus being
Mm-hmm.
gunned down by the police after she was calling them for help. And I actually had to preach that night, but I wasn't able to because some timing stuff. And I was just like, God, I don't know even know how I'm supposed to preach right now because I'm not even mentally in the place to
Mm-hmm.
even be able to do that. So I think God was looking out for me where it was just like there was some timing stuff that I couldn't, where I ended up not having to preach. But it was just it's a lot. Like I'm not necessarily in fear, except with certain instances. Like I remember one time I was visiting my girlfriend in North Carolina where she lives, and we were going out to eat with some friends before I went to the airport to come back home to Maryland. And she was kind of like speeding a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
like nothing that was like, oh, I thought we would get pulled over.
Mm-hmm.
And so, she's a Latina, I'm black. And so she was like, oh, is this cop like coming to like, come get us or like come get behind us?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what are you talking about? Because I'm just oblivious, to whatever's going on. And so we pull over and just all of a sudden, like, I'm just like, I don't want to talk. I just want to look straight forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like literally just paralyzed. And even after we're let go, I mean, we had, a ticket was, given, but I still was just like paralyzed
Mm-hmm.
because I was just like anything could have happened. Like, we always hear of the stories where it's like, okay, you have to get on the ground, they want to search the car, all this different crazy stuff. And so I think our reality as Black people is just so different than other people, even other people of color, because
Yeah.
um, it's just like maybe for them, I'm not going to say I can't speak for other minority groups,
Mm-hmm.
but no matter where you are in the diaspora, whether you're Afro Latino, African American, Caribbean, African, you just have a life experience where like doing normal things can just end up in a fatal, disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, those are the times I feel in fear. If anything, on a normal basis, it just gets to me on an emotional level in terms of feeling just sad
Mm-hmm.
because it's just like, I want to have kids, and just bringing kids into a world that doesn't view them as not even fully human, but human, period.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it sucks. So for me, I'm a big person of just feeling how I need to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes that's like, sometimes I'm not talking to God, even though, pastor and all that stuff, but it's just like, I just need time to myself. But, I do think it's obviously important to be in the word. I'm a big worshiper, so I'm doing that kind of stuff. But like you said, sometimes you do have to take a step back from social media too. And Nia Johnson, who we all know, she often, she tweets and does a lot of stuff on social media. She's like, I think she posted something once, or maybe with somebody else, but it was just like, if I don't post about these, shootings or anything, it doesn't mean that I don't care. It's just I need to take a step back, from, just putting yourself into these situations because they are
Mm-hmm.
traumatizing. They are, even if you're not
Extremely.
even directly, connected to it, it can get to you, definitely.
I definitely feel that. It's interesting that you brought up the whole kids thing because I go back and forth in my head all the time. I'm like, do I want to have kids? Do I not want to have kids? And none of
Yeah.
it has anything to do with me not liking children or me not wanting to be a mom or anything. It literally
Yeah.
just like I've been saying, like I've been living in fear, and I can just only imagine bringing another human being into the world that I'm responsible for, and now I'm fearing for their life too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like I keep going back and forth. Not only that, but just how we're not taking care of our earth either. So it's like that's another issue that it's just like, okay, so like people are killing me and abusing me and people who look like me. And then on top of that, like the environment is going to hell. Like it's all bad. So I mean, you saying like the kids is an interesting thing. And I think it's something that a lot of our people in our generation are starting to think about. For real. Like those who want kids. Why you look like that, Ian?
I look like that because people are more pregnant than I've ever seen today. That's why.
I mean, that has to do with like, people doing what they got to do to get pregnant. And once like, I feel like once you are pregnant, it's like a really, and you like, even though we're thinking about all this stuff, like we want to bring somebody into the world or not, it's just different. Like when you're pregnant, I feel like for now it got real. Now it's like not like really a thing to talk about. It's like, okay, do I want to bring this child into the world? Do I want to have an abortion? Do I want to do this? Some people don't even believe like in abortions and stuff like that. So I feel like, yeah, people are more pregnant than ever, but I don't think necessarily everyone is like anti-kids or something like that. I just feel like something happens differently when you find out that you're pregnant that I can't even attest to. But
there's an interesting thing. I mean, because I used to think, and that's a little bit to what you're saying, but not like I used to think, okay, when it comes to raising a family, just live like in a majority Black area, because we often hear, we're all from PG County, so okay, PG, the richest Black, county in the country, all this kind of stuff. But if you really see the statistics, even in PG County, when it comes to police brutality, even in Maryland, it's still we're one of the highest in the country, which I was shocked about. Right,
Maryland is bad, and so is DC.
Yeah, and we're supposed to be this, more progressive, place.
More progressive
and so
state.
It's still going down even in these Black areas. So it's just scary.
It's like where do you run to? Like, and then like, not only that, but then you see SARS, what's happening in Nigeria last year, and still going on, and you're like, okay, those are Black police officers, those are African police officers abusing and assaulting African people. And then it gets you down to like really like, again, I told you, like I turn back to my Bible and turn back to the word. Like it makes you remember that evilness is not strictly a white thing. And even though like white supremacy has dominated like that category for quite some time, it's still like the things that drive evilness are greed and lust and power hungry and all those things. And it's also just like when you see all that, it brings you down. It's just like, okay, I can't change the world because obviously the world is on a different wave, but I can focus on me and try to be the best person that I can be and make sure that I'm not adding to the harm that's already happening in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think you told me that, Ian, when you say you were reading James.
It was just I was not judging people. It was basically not judging people. I just how to like live a Christian life. That's what that book is about, basically.
No, but when you were talking to me, you were telling me how James was talking about like it was about what we could do and shouldn't do, but we have to know like where those things are coming from. Or was it a different book you were reading?
I might have said that, but I remember I said that I know I can't like change the world and have the world like conform to what I believe and how to make it like just a utopian society. I remember I said that, but what I can do is I can tell the people I talk to on a daily basis, and hopefully they spread it, and then the people they talk to, they spread it, and then it just goes around and around.
Oh, okay.
So basically,
I got a question. It's been a minute now. How did y'all feel about Lil Nas X and his
oh mercy.
Sorry guys.
And his video and his
could have went about a different way.
And the shoes and all that.
Yeah, bro, it's not it, my brother.
Okay, so I saw it from both perspectives. For me, I just I won't watch anything with the devil in it, like no matter if it's a
Mm-hmm.
joke or not, just because that's just how I am. I don't really play with
Play
like,
around with it, yeah.
yeah, but I knew it wasn't. I knew obviously it wasn't a real devil in the video, and I knew obviously it was like for creative purposes. Um, but I just think that he like took it a little too far with the shoes. I thought that was
Mm-hmm.
I think he took it too far with the video, and then the shoes just made it even worse.
the video.
Yeah.
See, the thing is with the video, like I just Lil Nas X, he's gonna be raunchy no matter what. Like that's just his personality, anyways. So like the video, it honestly didn't surprise me. Like it was. I did end up watching it one time because I just wanted to see what it was. The devil part wasn't even until the end of the music video, and he was twerking on the devil. I was just trying to figure out what the purpose. I didn't understand the purpose of the devil in the.
There was no purpose for that.
But he explained that it was because he explained that you guys all say gay people are going to hell, and I went there, so and now it's a problem. I
It's not what we meant, buddy.
I
I can't even say we because I don't believe that. But
what?
I said that's not what we meant, but like, I can't say we because I don't believe all gay people are going to hell.
Uh-huh.
So,
I don't know. It was kind of hard to like. I want to say it was just a lot because it was like all the non-believers and like anti like Christianity people, and then it was all the like super Christian people who like that can also be overwhelming. People who are like, I don't want to say people who are like super for God, but people who are like, I call them like the Sadducees and like the Pharisees, like people who are just extremely legalistic and don't leave any room for like any like
Mm-hmm.
compassion or anything like that. How did you
Yeah.
guys feel about his interpretation just of basically his interaction with the church?
I feel he could have done it a different way. I mean, I think what he did was an attention grabber,
Mm-hmm.
but it was the message completely went over everybody's head. It went over my head too. I'm not gonna lie to that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I just thought like, yo, what are you doing, bro? Like I didn't see a message behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Because music is art, and art always has a message, and I just
Yeah.
didn't see the message behind it. I was just like, dude, you are out of pocket right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the beginning of the video was terrible. I mean, he was playing around with the serpent. I said, yo, bro. I said, what is going on?
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
like when you said like you didn't see the devil until the end, I mean, you didn't see the physical, the fiery red and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. But he was messing around with the serpent in the first 5 seconds. So I mean, I can't really like.
I felt like honestly, like when I was watching it, you said the serpent, and then he was messing around with like his look, somebody who looked his like twin, but his twin had was white and had like white angel wings and stuff like that.
Bro, I don't remember the
I don't remember, but it was just like it was like he was telling a story of like basically it looked like him getting kicked out of heaven and going down and joining the devil, and it was just like it seemed like he was embracing like what Christians have told him over and over again. How do you think about what do you think about his interpretation of just like his experience?
Well, I'll say I did not watch the video because, like you were saying, for me, I don't even want to put that kind of like thing into like my spirit of like even interacting with that. But from what I do know about the whole controversy, I feel for him a lot, because my experience with the church is definitely not his experience, and because we all have different identities and different things like that, you're bound to have a different experience. So for me, I think he was incredibly hurt by the church. Obviously, I think he, if I'm not mistaken, like grew up in a really religious household and all that kind of stuff. And so for me, growing up, I never really had like a bunch of toxic theology either in my household or
yeah.
At Capitol Hill. There was, to me, at least from my ears, like maybe Cam may even have a different experience as a woman. Like I don't know, but like I didn't hear a bunch of like toxic like things. Now, and even like when we talk about gay marriage, I don't even feel like growing up at Capitol, you even heard like you hear like the random thing, man sleeping with a man, but you didn't really have like sermons on like gay marriage or like, these really divisive issues, so for me, like, it was never something where it was like, oh, any part of my identity
Is
was
threatened.
like attacked. Attacked or threatened or questioned, and so for me, I don't really have one of those church hurt stories. But when I think about plenty of women, whether they are not either respected by the church or have actually been like physically abused or whatever the case may be, the LGBT community, they have stories. And so for me, it's just like, if anything, I have a listening ear, but obviously and a listening ear and a compassionate heart to understand that wherever he's coming from is probably from a lot of hurt, and from a place of hurt. But at the same time, I just know I can't subject myself to like watching, his art. I think he should be able to express it, and do whatever he wants to do. But, obviously was not going to buy the shoes. Definitely was not going to watch the video. So, yeah.
The shoes were out of pocket. The shoes just seemed like,
it's fuel to the fire.
The shoes just seem, because of his personality. I don't know if you guys see him like on Twitter, but he's like really like a troll. Yeah. So the shoes just seemed like, while I thought it was out of pocket, I was just like, I could see him doing something like that. That's very on brand for his personality. Yep. So I wasn't surprised by that. But I was surprised by the shoes, but I wasn't surprised that he was endorsing something like that. But I think you make a good point. Like, we can have a listening ear and we can be compassionate, but at the same time, like, we can't subject ourselves to like any type of like blasphemy that we may feel like is happening. But how do you guys feel like, when people sometimes see Christians, they don't necessarily see the individual person, they see like what they stand for, and they kind of link that back to a traumatic experience or a painful experience like that. How do you guys think that, like, especially in this day and age where a lot of people are leaving the church, and especially our church, how do you think like we go about keeping them and bringing them in, and just as a new generation, and making them feel like they have a place?
I think what should happen is we should tell people to read the Bible like as like not like as a chore, because going to Tacoma Academy, Bible is a class. I never really I never really wanted to read it outside of school because it was a class. I don't want to do my schoolwork outside of at my home. And so like I think we should use the Bible as like as like a book that you would read, like the Hunger Games. Like, I mean, it's not the Hunger Games, but like something that you want to do.
It's drama.
Something that you want to do in your leisure time. And I also think that people need to stop listening to the people who talk about the Bible, but you should read it for yourself. Like, because a good amount of the people don't know what they're talking about. They take it out of context.
I noticed that a lot. I noticed that a lot of people like will get on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and like they'll denounce the Bible. And I understand like where the hurt is coming from. I understand like, people thinking that's a white man's religion. I understand the Bible has been translated over and over again. So we don't really have like exactly what God said when he was talking to Moses and stuff like that. But I do think it's important that, you can say that you people should read the Bible on their own. But again, like it starts with the introduction of the word. Like, how are you introduced to the Bible?
Yeah.
And if it's not in a good way, you're not going to want to read it.
Yeah, because like the way you persuade somebody, you can't like persuade somebody by force. You have to persuade
somebody. Or by fear. Like there's a lot of fear mongering that goes on in the church as well.
Yeah, you have to persuade somebody just by like letting them speak on what they believe, and then you counter it. And you counter it like nicely, in a respectful manner. Like, they're not going to listen to you if you're yelling. They're not going to listen to you if you just straight put it in their face. You're gonna have to make them listen to you by them bringing up a topic that makes you want to say this. So Yeah, I mean, a lot of people just really just don't know what they're talking about. Like, I remember, I was in Bible, and teacher said that um you have to renounce all your sins in your lifetime for you to go to heaven. But I was just like, I can't remember what I ate for breakfast this morning. I don't think God wants me to remember all my sins from when I was born to now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you know, like that's a lot of things to remember. And so you just got to read it for yourself. That's just all you got to say. That's
Mm-hmm.
all I got to say. You got to read for yourself.
What about you, Jelani?
Yeah, I think
Just
to
being
your question,
a minister.
yeah, I think it's an interesting thing. Like I know a lot of people, especially in ministry, are like very hard charging. Like let's get them in, and let's do the traditional ways of ministering to people, and that has its place. But to me, I think any religion, any way of doing things is all about relationships, and especially when we're talking about Christianity, it's about having a relationship with Christ. And so to me, it's like, okay, how, first of all, if I'm trying to introduce or trying to get someone to stay in the church or whatever, it's like, I have to have a good relationship with you to be able to even tell you, like, this is something that you should want to stick out, or like, even check out, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people we grow up with, they want nothing to do with Adventism or Christianity or whatever. And so we have to be able to be in a place where we have a trusting relationship to be able to talk about these things. Um, and then I think it's really, I mean, I do believe in the Seventh-day Adventist doctrine for the most part. There's things like women's ordination, some of those more hot button issues where I definitely disagree. But, when it comes down to the doctrine of the church, I believe in it. But I think for me, we have to keep the main thing, and that's Jesus. So for me, it's about really focusing on Jesus and how, especially when you're trying to get someone to stay, I think it sounds so cliche, it sounds so, whatever, but focusing on the love of God. I remember, our assistant pastor, he's my best friend. He got interviewed for something, and they asked him if you had to preach your last sermon ever, what would you preach on? And he said the love of God. And I think for a lot of people, it's like, okay, the love of God. But, a lot of our churches really don't talk about the love of God. We talk about everything else, but,
Mm-hmm.
Because it sounds like one of these cliche, okay, Jesus loves me. Yeah, we already know it. But I think a lot of people really don't know, because they view the Bible as just a rule of book. A book of rules and regulations and things to do, instead of really seeing, okay, wow, this is like a beautiful book about my relationship with God and other people's relationship with God, and how that's expressed, especially through the Gospels. And so to me, I always come back to the love of God, and that's my main point, sticking point when I'm talking to people, trying to introduce them or trying to get them to see Christianity in a new way, even after being hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think you just have to even have a solid relationship. And even if you don't even have a solid relationship, show them that you're trustworthy and that you're not trying just to get them in so that you can say, I brought my friend to church, or, we have another baptism, show them that authentically you just care about them as a person.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. That was an amazing point. You guys heard it here first from Elder Jelani.
So annoying.
From Elder Jelani.
So annoying, yeah.
No, but that's why I had you on today. I just wanted some things that, like, I just felt like we needed to talk about, just as like a generation, for real. And just like moving forward with everything, just moving forward in life, especially with the year that we just had. I just feel like it's just so life-changing for everybody, and it's going to change the way we operate.
Yeah.
It's going to change the way we view life, how we love one another and show each other that we care. So I just, that's what I wanted to talk about today. And so I'm very glad that you came onto the podcast.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course. Is there one thing, well, you don't have to, but is there one thing that you guys would like to leave with the viewers before we go?
Just have a good day today, to be honest.
Have a good day.
Stay easy.
All right, you guys. If you made it to this far in the podcast, I want to say thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed our episode. If you did, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the Check-in Pod 1. And also, you can subscribe to, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Check-in Podcast 1 as well. Remember, guys, to lead with light and to lead with love. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Bye.